Today marks 1695th day of the lessons, daily reflections. And today I'll speak about seven statements that could be potentially said to you, or maybe you can tell those statements to yourself. And I think that it's very important to understand that a lot of bad statements in other people's eyes, is a positive statement for you. What I mean by that is that sometimes people say something to really minimize you. But I think that I learned that it's a beautiful thing sometimes when you really reflect what it truly means. And do you want to really label yourself even for a season of your life towards that? And that's exactly what developed you. So I appreciate your label. I appreciate you telling me that. And I think that is an interesting thing that they might want to say that to diminish you. But at the end of the day, they uplift you, encourage you by saying that. So they will share seven statements that someone could tell you that it is actually is an extremely good thing. So number one is that you are too intense. You are too intense. That means that your intensity, your ability to really be intentional with your actions and do the right thing and be working constantly might be that some people will be too intense. They want to live a mediocre life. That's all fine. But they say like, I don't want mediocre life. I want to have something that other people do not have. I want to be able to be somebody. I want to, even though that I'm already somebody, I learned that you're already somebody, but I want to really develop myself, improve myself, be even better version of myself. I want to have more things. I want to do more things. And because of that, I want to be intense for the season of my life. And I think that again, when a person who doesn't have what you want says that you're too intense, that's again, they might say that because they want to hurt you, but at the same time, that's again, thank you for acknowledging that my intensity. Thank you that I'm consistently intense in my life. And I appreciate you for noticing that. Because people who love comfort, they will not like intensity, that's for sure. Number two is you have changed. And again, this is one statement that said like you have changed in a bad sense. They said like you changed, I don't like you anymore. You used to be useful, you used to be people pleaser, you used to say always yes, but now you say no, you have boundaries, you have non-negotiables, you develop self-respect, you have changed. You're not as useful as you used to be. So when a person says that you have changed, is one thing that it could be an amazing thing. Because you growing yourself. If I never change, that means that I am staying the same. I don't want to become the best version of myself, so that means if I'm staying the same, that means I'm not growing. So when someone says you have changed 99% of the time, that's a good thing. Because you're developing, you're trying new things, you exploring who you can be, exposing yourself to different character traits, different emotional states, so you can really choose better. I think that if you never been certain way, it's very hard to really say that which parts you like it, which one not. I think that it's extremely good to really sometimes even be who do you that you, the person that you don't want to be for a short period of time. So understand like I really don't want to be that kind of person. Number three, you think too much. And I think that's one thing is that of course procrastination is bad. Thinking about the same thing and ruminating is bad. But thinking too much is sometimes an amazing thing. Most people even don't think. They don't reflect and they ask you questions about easy futures questions. Have no idea because they never reflected on. Thinking it is an extremely difficult job. Ruminating on the same idea, it's easy. Thinking and reflecting honestly on new things and really being able to execute and based on that execution, new thinking, that's hard. And if you, as someone says, you think too much, sometimes it could be because they don't think and they don't want you to be as wise as you are right now. And I think that thinking too much is again could be said in a wrong context as a as trying to hurt, but at the same time could be the best thing. And we could appreciate that. Number four, you are hard to please. You are hard to please. And I think that's it's again part of sometimes changing the standards. What are the standards? And I think that it's great when you seek very high standards from yourself. And then at the same time, because when you seek very high standards from yourself, you start to expect high standards from other people as well. And when see people say that you're hard to please, is that I have my standards. I want to live by those standards. And I think that's again people say because they don't like that part of you majority of the time. I said I appreciate you noticing that I have high standards, and I'm not willing to really lower those standards. Now, do we need to reflect on them? So those standards are really valid. Do we need to do that? 100%. But at the same time, we need to always keep the standards for ourselves and for others at the same time. We're not supposed to reduce standards just because we like somebody. Number five, you are obsessed. And again, people a lot of times that word obsession is used as a negative thing. But when you really look into very successful people, very extremely successful people who really admire people who have tremendous success, they always, always, always had obsession at some point in their life. They're obsessed about one topic and they spend a lot of time, a lot of intensity. There's something with obsession in their life because without obsession, becoming extraordinary was almost impossible. So when people say that you are obsessed, we're able to ask, okay, in what area of my life? Because you're not able to be obsessed in everything. So that means that every single person needs to choose to be mediocre in all things? Or do you want to really choose to be obsessive in one area and become extraordinary? And I think that is a beautiful thing. Asking, do you want to be extraordinary? So, what obsession do you want to have? Because every single person could have obsession. And I think that the most important part is understanding that obsession could be a seasonal. You're obsessed for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years. While you're scaling a business, you're obsessed about the business. But at the same time, then you scale back or obsessed about other things. It could be that for a season of our life, and I think that is, I really love that life is seasonal, and it's okay to be obsessed, fully obsessed with something for a season. Number six, you spend too much time alone. You spend too much time alone, and I think that again, every single person needs to go through seasons, and I think that every single person is not supposed to be alone for life. But sometimes it's a great thing that you're able to stay alone. When you choose solitude, not because you pushed into that position and because you are walking away from people because you want to hide and avoid, but because you go into rather than run away. Because there's two ways going in solitude. One is when you really said that I want to reflect, I want to really look into my deeper into my rooms within myself, and I am going into to reflect, to really journal, to build myself, better clarity, awareness. So that's build presence, mindfulness. You go into solitude with clear intention. Because other way that you can go solitude is running away from problems, running away from people, running away from discomfort. At that moment, that solitude, of course, is not healthy. But if you spend too much time alone, could be a compliment when you really use with intention that solitude, a good intention. Number seven is you are intimidating. It doesn't mean that you're aggressive, but you just speak directly. You know exactly what needs to be done. You don't seek approval, and you just say exactly what you mean. And I really love people who are like this, who really say what they mean. Because I never were able to really try to go and understand the words and meanings and try to really just I love speaking literally. And then I think that's when people speak literally, and a lot of times people say that those people are intimidating because they are not afraid sometimes to hurt your feelings to help you to achieve great things. And it's interesting, so funny still that people sometimes walk away from intimidating people, even though that those intimidating people could tremendously help in their life. But because they intimidating and it's hard to speak with them, and they trigger internal shame, guilt, or anything in between, they walk away. But when people call, you are intimidating. Sometimes we need to just ask ourselves if am I intimidating based on the kindness? Because that's a beautiful thing, but you really tell the truth through kindness, through love, or I'm intimidating because I just do not control my tongue, and I speak everything, and my delivery is terrible. But I think that majority of the time, when people say intimidating, that is a compliment because you are a direct person and really you have ability to really add value to people more than the person who is nice and will be polite, but they do not have ability to really serve people in the highest potential. They're able to add value, they're able to help people, but not serve in the highest level. And if you want to be the person whom serves, you need to be intimidating. And that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. And I think there is more statements that people say about you, and when you really reflect on that, what that statement means, we can potentially find that wow, when you really reflect on that, that is a compliment, and we always able to say thank you for noticing that. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.